All right, hello everybody. Here we are. We've made it to another episode of Wisco-Weather. I've had to push around the date for this stream a couple times, but here we are. We're here. We've made it. It's 9 p.m. June 2nd, 2024, and we have some weather to talk about, which is always exciting. Let me bring up my face cam here. So hold on, I just accidentally closed one of my tabs. 1 second. Let me pull up my face cam here so that y'all can see me. There we go. All right, how's it going, everyone? Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. We got some weather to talk about today. I think that I'm sure some of you weather folk in chat tonight. I know Andrew, CJ's in here. I'm sure you guys have seen some of the forecast for tomorrow, but I know some of the general public this severe weather event may be slipping under the radar a little bit. So that's why we're here. We're going to talk through this storm potential so that all of you kind of know what's going on and you can be prepared for some potential storms this week. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Yeah, we got Andrew in chat. How's it going, Andrew? CJ's here. Good to see you, CJ. Suzanne. Hi, Charlie. How's it going? Great to see you here tonight. Bubba Plays Games. How's it going? Great to see everyone in here tonight. And we have a lot to talk about on this stream. We're going to look at the severe weather that we've chased the past couple weeks, as long as look ahead to the next couple days. We'll be out chasing tomorrow and maybe again on Tuesday. So we're going to have a busy stream tonight, which is always awesome. It means that you guys can kind of see what's going on behind the scenes with the storm chases and if our forecasts are turning out as we hope. But yeah, I'm just waiting for everyone to slowly trickle in a little bit. Dickon Blues. Hi, Charlie. How's it going? Thanks for tuning in tonight. But yeah, I'm trying to think, and we just kind of dive right into this thing. I think that's going to be our plan for today. So why don't we get this show on the road? Let me switch my screens here so that y'all hopefully can see what I'm looking at. But yeah, as I said, we've had a busy couple weeks. We were storm chasing a lot. Towards the end of May, we had a couple good storm events come through that we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about the tornado count in Wisconsin for 2024 so far. We're getting close to being at a very close to a above average year. I'm not sure what the Wisconsin average is. I know it's around 20, 25-ish. I know we're kind of in that ballpark. So yeah, we're not even into June, which June is typically the historical peak for severe weather in Wisconsin, and we're already starting to near that average mark for the tornado count in Wisconsin. So we could be in store for some very active storm season as we get through the rest of the year. But yeah, with that, let's kind of dive right into some of the stuff we've seen these past few days. This week's weekly weather story. Here we go again. It sounds like the forecast is a broken record. More storms, more storms, more storms. It seems like that's just how it's been this entire year. It seems like there's been a chance for storms somewhere in Wisconsin every single week over the past couple months or so. I know we've been busy in April, busy in May, had some good storm events in March, even storms in February. So I'm sure folks are getting tired of hearing the words, "Oh, severe weather is in the forecast," which it sounds repetitive, but y'all kind of need to know what's going on so that you can keep yourselves safe out there. But let's dive right into things a little bit. First, I want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff we've seen the previous weeks. On May 21st, the 23rd to 24th, and on the 26th were all active severe weather days in Wisconsin, whether it was damaging winds, a derecho that went through Nebraska, extended to northern Illinois, or even a sneaky tornado event like we saw on the 26th. There was a lot of stuff to see that week, and we're going to dive right into these things. We're going to start off chronologically. May 21st, 2024 looked like it was shaping up to be a big severe weather day. We had that moderate risk area from western Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Missouri. It was a shaping up to be a big day. I was kind of chasing down in this region for most of the day. I was in southwest Wisconsin, kind of picking up the storms down there, and I kind of slowly meandered eastward throughout the day. The tornado risk on the 21st, we had that 15% hatched area, which is that black marking indicates the potential for significant tornadoes, EF2 or larger, and you can see that 10% with the hatch markings extended all the way out towards the Madison area, up towards central Wisconsin, and then kind of westward from there, extending down through Missouri. Also a very high risk for damaging winds on the 21st. We had that big 45% hatched area for significant damaging winds with a 30% hatched area kind of extending around it, and even a significant hail risk. Mostly for Wisconsin, this significant hail risk was mainly focused on the western half of the state, where storms were possibly going to be more supercellular. I didn't see a whole lot of hail reports out of this event, but there definitely were some good hailstones. So, 21st, my forecast, the day of my chase, I was kind of looking at two areas. I kind of had to flip the coin between southwest Iowa or southwest Wisconsin. Now, if we zoom in a little bit, there are some differences between these two target areas. One was right on the cold front, and one was right on this warm front here. And this warm front ended up, we had some storms kind of going through that region early in the day. This is one of the morning rounds of severe thunderstorms that went through central Iowa that was kind of fueling that Wisconsin severe weather risk, at least early on. And what happened was, as this storm went through central Iowa, it left behind an outflow boundary that could help trigger storms later in the day. So I ended up committing to the eastern Iowa, southeast or southwest Wisconsin, northwest Illinois target area, kind of hoping that this outflow boundary would kickstart storms for our chase during the day, which could have posed more of a chance for isolated supercellular convection as opposed to the cold front, where generally storms kind of line up and they tend to interfere with each other quite a bit more. And sure enough, we did have supercells initiate on that outflow boundary. This was early in the morning. We were kind of watching. This was an elevated round of storms, so it wasn't surface-based just yet. The fuel it was taking in was from high off the ground. Wasn't quite reaching that classic supercell structure that we were looking for, but it was slowly organizing as it approached Wisconsin. So, while I wait for those storms to move in, I turn my attention to this little guy that kind of snuck up on me near the Evansville area. We had a couple little attempts at some supercells right on the warm front, right off the start of the day. This was at noon. You can see that supercell with its little hook-shaped appendage there near the Evansville area on the 21st. We caught that storm from very, very far away. It kind of lost steam as it made its way northward. It crossed the warm front, so it didn't have a lot of fuel to keep it going. It got elevated and slowly just kind of fell apart. This was our very, very distant view of that storm as we desperately tried to go north to get after it, but just couldn't quite get there in time. Yeah, you can see we had a little bit of some inflow tails feeding into this thing, but overall just a very hazy, distant shot. This was kind of the cell we had been watching that was near the Cedar Rapids area. Eventually it did make its way into Wisconsin. This was actually when I met up with CJ. I believe CJ's in chat here. Tom's in chat. How's it going, Tom? Great to see you. Jack's in here. Good to see you, Jack. Yeah, this is when I met up with CJ. We kind of watched this storm make its way in towards the Platteville area. You can see it had this very elevated base. If we want tornado potential, which is kind of what we were eyeing that day, we wanted to catch supercells early on when they'd hopefully have that potential for more photogenic tornadoes as opposed to later in the evening when they'd all be rain wrapped at night, so you can't really see what's going on. This storm had an elevated base, so it wasn't really looking too tornado-y. As we followed that storm kind of towards the northeast, it began dying out, and we had another storm pop up right behind it. And this is the structure you want if you're trying to get a tornado. We had this wall cloud slowly starting to develop here with a nice lowered base that was slowly beginning to spin faster and faster. Unfortunately, other storms were kind of getting in this one's way. So it went from a nice supercell with a nice clear base to this very rainy HP mess. And it was very hard to see what was going on in there. One, because there were a lot of trees, and two, just because of how much rain was beginning to fill in that area of rotation. Here's where we were at the time of that photo. This is the area of rotation that we were watching right here as we approach that storm. Red is moving away from the radar. Green is wind moving towards the radar. That's our rotation right there that we'd been eyeing. Just didn't quite get there for us. Throughout the evening, those storms just kind of continued to line out. We had a number of tornado warnings issued for the Madison area. We ended up picking up the storm kind of near the Oconomowoc area to end the day, watching some nice lightning over the Dockhound Stadium as baseball fans evacuated. They had a full stadium, which I was surprised about with this storm moving in, but fortunately they were able to get everyone out before this storm got here. Overall, we had 16 confirmed tornadoes on the 21st. All of them were in northern Wisconsin. We even had one way up in that northern point of Door County. I believe it's Washington Island. Just a number of EF1 and EF0s that meandered through mainly rural terrain, which is what you want to see. There was one EF1 near the Appleton area, but fortunately it was on the weaker side, so didn't really do a whole lot other than some tree damage. But yeah, very, very busy severe weather day on the 21st, and then we were right back at it on the 23rd and 24th. We were chasing on the 24th, but our storm actually got started on the 23rd. You can see the wind reports here, and tornado reports too, starting off in western Nebraska, making their way through Iowa, and then that report map starts back up on the 24th, and that storm continued into northern Illinois, producing a number of tornadoes and some more damaging winds. This storm was actually classified as something known as a derecho, which is a long-lasting, damaging windstorm that you often get during this summertime pattern. I know the Iowa derecho is probably the most well-known one in recent time. What makes a storm a derecho? You have to have 58-mile-per-hour winds throughout the majority of its path, a 400-mile path length, and that path also has to be very, very wide, at least 60 miles wide, and you need to have several well-separated instances of winds 75 miles per hour or greater. These aren't classifications that they just give to any line of storms. You have to really, those lines of storms have to really be going to get a derecho. And that's what we had on the 24th. We picked up the storm in northwest Illinois. You can see this great big bow echo stretching all the way from Wisconsin down to Missouri with a number of tornado warnings right along that line. And here was our view of that storm as we kind of made our way away from it. Nice little shelf cloud with some turbulent whale's mouth features. And you can kind of see the area that was sparking that tornado warning, where we had that little bend in the line that was trying to spin, but didn't really amount to anything other than an area of rotation that appeared on radar for a little bit. We also had this really great view as the shelf cloud passed over us. Nice blue turquoise below the shelf cloud here, with a nice whale's mouth feature as the storm kind of made its way eastward. We also had a close encounter with lightning. This is from the roof-mounted 360 camera. You can see that lightning bolt that struck near that grove of trees there. I was out of the car at the time of this photo. I was kind of tucked back here getting photos of the whale's mouth with the tornado siren. And yeah, that definitely got my blood pumping seeing that lightning bolt strike not too far away. But overall, very fun chase. I also got to live stream it to you guys, which was super, super awesome to see so many people tuned in to watch this storm. And now we have May 26th, a very sneaky tornado event that occurred in southern Wisconsin. But yeah, I believe Tom was out that day. But yeah, I know there was a number of local chasers down there. My friend Jordan was down there. Mostly just a local Wisconsin chaser event just because of how sneaky it was. We did have 3 EF0s confirmed near Janesville, Milton, a little bit near the just outside of Fort Atkinson. Fortunately, nothing super major. I actually went down there and took a look at the damage myself, mostly just tree damage, and the Weather Service surveys the damage points they picked out were mostly just damage to trees. But yeah, very, very busy week, and Tom's talking in chat. But yeah, very, very busy week severe weather-wise, and a lot of fun chasing too. We got to stream a lot of these storms to you guys so you could see what was going on, and it looks like we're going to be right back at it again. This is the current 2024 tornado count for Wisconsin. We're up to 23 tornadoes for the year, which is a lot considering we're only in May, and we still have to get through June, July, August. There are days in the fall where I'm chasing in October, November. I've even storm chased in December, so it's possible that we could see tornado reports go all the way to the end of the year, but only time will tell with that. So, what are we looking at for this upcoming week? Well, first off is tomorrow. I believe, first off is tomorrow. You can see we have this big marginal risk area with that slight kind of down in Oklahoma, but we're more concerned at what's going on up here. I want to walk y'all through it. Basically, what we have out there right now, actually, let's show you guys kind of what we have out there right now, because y'all can kind of see the basic ingredients for what's bringing about this severe weather. If you look at radar and satellite right now, you can see we have big complexes of storms all over the western United States. We have storms in the Dakotas, storms in Nebraska, storms down in Texas, but we're mainly focused on what's going on way up here in Nebraska and the Dakotas. If we go back here, you watch this area. This is the HER run, the 18Z HER for 1 a.m. Monday. If you watch this area here as we go through the loop, you can see we start to get a little bit of a swirl begin to form as that complex of storms weakens and makes its way into the Iowa area. And basically what we have for Monday's event is we are looking for something known as a mesoscale convective vortex, also known as an MCV. Sorry about the thunking, my chat just closed on me, so I just had to reopen it. But we're looking for a mesoscale convective vortex, also known as an MCV, to be left behind from the storms that are going on tonight in the Dakotas, Nebraska, a little bit of northern Kansas. Basically, an MCV is an area of low pressure that can form within these large complexes of storms, and sometimes when these MCVs are left behind, you can get new storm development that triggers off of these little, these sneaky little low pressure regions. We had I remember last year I chased an MCV event through northern Illinois that produced a couple tornadoes near the Chicago area. Will this event live up to that kind of hype? Time will tell with that, but we're gonna worry about that a little bit more as we get into tomorrow when we have a better idea of how this MCV can set up. Because there are a lot of tricky things that have to go into making an MCV setup just perfect. Basically, this computer run 18Z HER at 4 p.m. Monday has storms initiating along that MCV, southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and that's why we have that severe weather threat in place. Now, if we just kind of walk through the broad kind of risk areas that we have, the general hazards we're looking at, Storm Prediction Center has that 2% tornado risk for southeast Wisconsin, a little bit of northern Illinois. Basically, what this means, if you were to drop a pin within this little risk area, within a 25-mile radius of that pin, there's a 2% chance of a tornado tracking near that point. We also have a 5% risk of damaging severe thunderstorm winds, and a 5% chance of severe hail, which is 1 inch hail or greater. Basically, because this is an MCV setup, there are still a few questions that could really determine the exact placement of severe weather tomorrow and the overall storm development, potential hazards, that sort of thing. Big one is MCV location. Where is that mesoscale convective vortex going to set up? If it sets up farther to the east, comes through really quick, it's possible that Wisconsin might skip out on the severe weather potential, and it could be limited to Lake Michigan, possibly over into western Michigan, maybe a little bit along the lakeshore. Another potential bug in the ointment for this severe weather setup is, will we get clearing ahead of that MCV? If the skies can clear out, we can kind of rebake the environment, get that energy we need to fuel these storms, we could be looking at a more robust severe weather threat. If the storms don't clear out, we have rain throughout a lot of the morning. That'll kind of muddy the waters for storm development later on in the afternoon, and storms will really struggle because they won't have the energy they need to get going and get their full severe weather potential. So overall with tomorrow, lots of little tricky things that could really mess up the forecast, but if all comes together right, we could be looking at a decent severe weather day in Wisconsin, which is why you need to be prepared, and you're definitely going to want to stay weather aware tomorrow with this setup, because it could be these MCVs, they can definitely be a little sneaky and kind of creep up on people if they're not paying attention, which is why it's good to be weather aware all the time, especially when you know there's an MCV lurking around your neck of the woods. Now we're kind of gonna, before we jump ahead here a little bit, I want to turn back to all y'all. I know we did this in the last stream. I want to turn to y'all. Do y'all have any questions about Monday's or tomorrow's severe weather potential in northern Wisconsin? Because I know that was a lot. Kind of jumped through it a little bit quickly. I want to make sure you guys have the opportunity to answer any questions before we move on to Tuesday's severe weather potential, kind of located in western Wisconsin. So if y'all have anything you want to say in chat, go right ahead, because I'll be listening. Oh boy, Tom is here. Tom's here. He is here. He's here for the party. He's here for the fun, the craziness. How much cheese am I going to consume? A lot. I'm a Wisconsinite. I got to have my cheese fill before a chase. Do you think Wisconsin could get upgraded to a slight risk? I know the Storm Prediction Center has talked about upgrades of the northern half of the risk area in their last outlook. If we pull up the Storm Prediction Center here, they did mention the possibility of an upgrade in later outlooks for our region. Let's see, where was it? Right here. Given uncertainty, we'll maintain a marginal risk over a broad area, but higher probabilities may be needed in subsequent outlooks. So if all comes together, if all is looking like it's going to come together just right for a really robust severe weather potential, I wouldn't be surprised, but there's just too much uncertainty right now to really justify those higher SPC outlooks. All right. Where are we meeting for lunch tomorrow? That's a great question. Wherever you guys want to meet. Right now, I'm eyeing setting up near the Fort Atkinson area. So if y'all are in that spot, let me know, and I'd be down to grab a bite to eat before the storms. Good chance for severe storms in southwest Wisconsin tomorrow near Cuba City. Cuba City is included in the risk area for tomorrow. And depending on the placement of that MCV, mesoscale convective vortex, that's going to be acting as our low pressure system triggering these storms, if it's placed a little bit farther to the west, Cuba City could be looking at a severe weather threat for tomorrow. Culver's? CJ says we have to get lunch at Culver's. Personally, I stand by the tradition that Culver's is an after chase thing. If you have Culver's before a chase, it's bad luck. Will it be wind and hail more than tornadoes? As of right now, the Storm Prediction Center is maintaining a higher hail and wind outlook for tomorrow. This outlook may be upgraded later on once we know more, as the event kind of creeps closer into tomorrow morning, once we have a better idea of how everything is setting up. So, but as of right now, as of this moment, we are looking at higher potential for damaging wind and hail than tornadoes. But that could change, which is why you're going to want to stay posted to the forecast tomorrow, just in case the Storm Prediction Center does upgrade any of those risks. Let me go back through here. Oh, I went a little too far ahead. But yeah, if y'all don't have anything else, I think we're going to jump into Tuesday's severe weather potential. This severe weather potential, as of right now, the forecast is favoring an event closer to western Wisconsin, northwest Wisconsin, kind of that area along the Mississippi River. But it's a little bit far in advance for specific severe weather hazards at the moment. The Storm Prediction Center just has their broad marginal risk area in place for all forms of severe weather. But the latest forecast models are favoring, at least for Wisconsin, more of a linear storm type, which would put areas in Wisconsin more under the potential for damaging winds. This is the 3-kilometer North American mesoscale mesoscale model. This is 5 p.m. Tuesday. You can see that line of storms kind of marching into western Wisconsin. If this forecast holds true, this would favor more of a damaging wind threat than a tornado potential. Maybe large hail too. But yeah, as of right now, Tuesday looks more like a damaging wind event that'll be located mainly in western Wisconsin. Obviously, this event is still 3 days away. There's still plenty of time for this forecast to change, and that's why I really want to stress, just pay attention to what the local National Weather Service offices are saying. Pay attention to your local broadcast media. And if you want updates from me, I have my own social medias in the description. I'll be posting updates on these forecasts as they change and as we get closer to the events. Because we're still not at the event time yet, so we still don't fully know what's going to happen. As we've seen, there are lots of little details that can really alter how these forecasts are going to go along. But which is why it's important for you guys to know where to get updates for if these forecasts do change, which they probably will. But yeah, with that, that's pretty much the main stuff that I wanted to cover tonight for tonight's show. We can go through our 5-day forecast here for our 8 communities in Wisconsin. But before that, I want to read chat one more time. Make sure anyone has any further questions. Tom says this is enjoyable, doing a great job. Thank you, Tom. I really appreciate it. I started this show. I'm sure if some of you who follow me on Twitter, you may have seen that I was involved with Innovative Weather a little bit at UW Milwaukee. Unfortunately, all those programs have closed down. I wanted to give myself a platform where I could take these things that I've learned from these programs I was a part of, just kind of put it into something that I'm more interested in, which is broadcast meteorology as opposed to private sector. So for me, this is a good practice platform for what I want to do in the future. And I'm really, really glad you all are enjoying it because I'm enjoying this a whole lot. This is like my bread and butter right here. So to have all you guys in here enjoying it with me just makes it so much better. But yeah, if anyone doesn't have any further questions, we will move ahead to our 5-day forecast. We'll answer a few other questions before we end, and I think that'll be the end of tonight's show. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything popping up in chat right now, so I think we're gonna hop ahead to our 5-day forecast for some of these communities in Wisconsin. So we're gonna start off in Eau Claire. Eau Claire, Monday we do have that thunderstorm potential, mainly in the morning. It looks like with that morning round of storms would favor more thunderstorms. High temperature around 77. Tuesday, we do have that chance of severe weather, as we saw that potential for a line of storms moving in from the Minnesota area in the evening. High temperature around 75. Wednesday, it looks like we'll be cloudy throughout most of the day. We do have a chance of a few scattered showers in northern Wisconsin. High temperature around 70 degrees. Thursday, it looks like we'll clear out and will be a little bit cooler too with high temperature of 77. And Friday, cooler again, partly cloudy, high temperature of 60. Rhinelander, again, Monday, chance of thunderstorms mainly confined to the morning hours, high temperature around 77. Tuesday, we have that chance of thunderstorms overnight with that potential for a line of storms moving in, high temperature of 75. Same thing Wednesday, chance of a few scattered showers, high temperature around 70. Thursday, partly cloudy, high temperature of 67. Friday, partly cloudy, high temperature of 65. Green Bay, it looks like once Monday's round of storms gets through Eau Claire and Rhinelander, once it reaches the Green Bay area, the thunderstorm potential is going to decrease dramatically just because those storms have been through. Well, they're starting off tonight, going through overnight. Once they reach Green Bay, they're not going to have a whole lot of steam left, which is why I'm not super convinced we're going to see a big thunderstorm potential in Green Bay. Looks like it's mostly going to be rain. There is the chance of a few rumbles of thunder, but I think it's just mostly going to be a rain show in Green Bay on Monday. High temperature of 75. Tuesday, thunderstorm potential overnight with that line of storms. High temperature of 75. Wednesday, cloudy, chance of scattered showers here or there. Mostly cloudy throughout the day though. High temperature of 70. Thursday, 67 degrees. And Friday, 65 degrees. Now, La Crosse. La Crosse is in an interesting situation. It'll be experiencing that morning round of storms on Monday, but it is possible, depending on that placement of that MCV like we're talking about, that they could see another round of storms later in the afternoon with a high temperature of 78 degrees. So, La Crosse probably won't hurt to stay weather aware tomorrow, just in case there is that second round of thunderstorms. La Crosse also is looking to experience that potential for severe weather on Tuesday. High temperature of 78 degrees with that potential for a line of storms moving in overnight. Wednesday, chance of rain, high temperature of 75. Thursday, partly cloudy, 67. Friday, getting into the 70s with partly cloudy skies. Wisconsin Dells, same thing as lacrosse. Storms in the morning and that potential for storms in the afternoon, depending on how everything all comes together for that evening round of storms on Monday. High temperature of 78 degrees. Tuesday, chance of thunderstorms overnight, high temperature of 78. Wednesday, chance of rain continues, high temperature of 75 degrees. Thursday, high temperature of 67. Friday, high temperature of 70. Oshkosh. Well, same thing. I sound like a broken record, but that's just how it is. Chance of thunderstorms in the morning, and that chance of thunderstorms later in the afternoon. It looks like the morning round of storms will be a similar thing with Green Bay. That morning round of thunderstorms looks like it will be losing steam as it approaches the Oshkosh area, so it may be more of a rain event for Monday morning. But depending on how everything comes together tomorrow, we could be looking for some thunderstorms in the evening with a high temperature of 75. Chance of thunderstorms on Tuesday, high temperature of 78. Wednesday, chance of rain, 73. Thursday, 70 degrees, partly cloudy. Friday, 70 degrees, partly cloudy. Now we come down to Madison. This is where things are going to get really interesting. It looks like the morning round of storms, depending on how things go. Chance of a few rumbles of thunder, and then we have that potential for severe weather in the afternoon, which is our main concern for thunderstorms on Monday. High temperature of 75 degrees near Madison. Tuesday, we are included in that thunderstorm risk area, so it is possible as storms make their way through Wisconsin that we see a few rumbles of thunder with that complex. High temperature around 80 degrees. Tuesday's event it depends on how storms kind of progress throughout the day, so definitely going to want to stay weather aware on Tuesday for the chance of thunderstorms later in the day. Chance of rain Wednesday, high temperature of 75. Partly cloudy on Thursday, high temperature of 70. Friday, partly cloudy, high temperature of 72. Milwaukee, same general thing. Looks like Monday's morning storms could see a few rumbles of thunder, but the afternoon is really going to want to you're going to want to pay attention. High temperature of 75. Tuesday, high temperature around 80 degrees. Same general thing as Madison, as that line of storms that kind of makes its way through. Depending on how things set up, there is the chance for thunderstorms Tuesday night. Chance of rain on Wednesday, high temperature of 75. Thursday, 70 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Friday, 70 degrees, high temperature around 72. So, before I conclude, I just want to turn everything back to you if you all have any last minute questions before we sign off for the evening. We went through quite a bit. I want to make sure that all y'all are covered before we close things out for this evening's show tonight. As always, if you want to get updates, go to your, I don't know why the National Weather Service took a second to pop up there. National Weather Service, Storm Prediction Center, local TV and radio, great places to get updates regarding the severe weather. And of course, I have my own social medias down below, where I will be posting general updates throughout the day, including my live storm coverage. I will be out in the field Monday, maybe on Tuesday too, kind of out storm chasing. So if I'm seeing anything, I'll be sure to post things on there, and I'll just be posting general forecast updates on there throughout the week as things go along. So if anyone has any questions, now's your time to ask before we sign off for the evening. Jack says, thanks for the updates. You did awesome. Thank you, Jack. I really appreciate it. Glad you tuned in this evening for this night's edition of Wisco-Weather. Definitely a lot to talk about, but we got through it in a decent amount of time. It only took us, 45 minutes? I don't know what time we're running at, but yeah. Do I have an email where you can share a video with me? Down below, I believe my website down there has an email address somewhere in it. So if you go to the description of this video and you find my website, I believe my email is in there. So if you want to send me a video clip, feel free to do it down there. I don't know if I'm going to respond right away just because I have a lot kind of going on these next few days. So it might take me a little bit to respond. But yeah, that is down there for anyone who's curious on sending stuff over. Yeah, we went through quite a lot of weather to talk about. Even on the marginal days, there's a lot of stuff to unpack. So hopefully y'all were kind of able to ingest all this information that's kind of being spouted out. Tom says, great job. Maybe see you under the mezzo tomorrow. Absolutely. Tom, thank you for tuning in tonight. hopefully I'll see you out there tomorrow. Maybe we can find a place to link up before the chase tomorrow. But yeah, with that, I believe it is going to be time for us to end. So I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. It was a great evening looking through the storms, and a great evening reflecting on the severe weather we've had at the end of May. Overall, just a very, very busy severe weather season here in Wisconsin, not only for the spring, but as we get into summer too. June is the historical peak for tornadoes in Wisconsin, which is why it's very important to stay weather aware as we get into June, because it is that historical peak, and things will slowly kind of wind down for the year. But summertime is Wisconsin's severe weather season. So I want to make sure all of you guys are prepared. You know where to find information so that you're not caught off guard by some of these severe weather events that we have rolling through these next few days. But yeah, with that, I believe it is going to be time for us to conclude for this evening. Thank you all very much for tuning in tonight. It was a very fun time, very great stream. I hope you all enjoyed this evening. I know it was a little brief. We've only been streaming for about 40 minutes, but as long as I'm able to get all the information that you guys need, I think that's perfectly fine. So I want to thank you all once again so much for tuning in. And yeah, I'll be live streaming tomorrow on the severe weather potential, depending on how things go. I'm going to kind of get the streaming stuff for tomorrow set up right after this. Then I'll be posting updates throughout the day tomorrow. If for whatever reason things suddenly change and I'm not going to be going live tomorrow, I'll be posting an update either on my community tab or on Twitter. But as of right now, it looks like I will be out and about chasing tomorrow, so y'all have that live coverage. But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream tonight, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for some live storm chasing. Could be a busy day, but I think we'll have things covered. So thank you all again for tuning in. Very, very fun talking through the storms, as always. Hope you all are more weather aware, and you're more prepared for the storms coming through this week.